Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, Travis Blaze, with another exciting episode of The Travis Blaze Show. Story time. Starring me, yours truly, your host, Travis Blaze. And you guys are probably wondering why I'm wearing an Argyle sweater and I actually look shaved today. Well, that's because I have a job interview, thanks to my boy, Mike Santucci. General Santucci first, Monster Mike with the energy reviews. Energy drink reviews. Dropped my smoke, picked it up. Here we go. So, I hope that goes well. I'll chronicle that in tomorrow's episode, let you guys know how that went. So, today, I am going to be talking about my fond memories with video games. A lot of stories about video games. Some funny, some crazy. Some that almost caused me to fail high school and amongst other things, and I'm not really sure where I should begin. I guess I should start from the beginning. I guess it was about 3 or 4 when I first came across a video game. It was a Christmas one year and we got a NES, an NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, regular Nintendo, the box thing with the cartridges. I actually have some cards, actually. I'll show you one so you guys who don't remember the Nintendo just get an idea of what it is. Yeah, there's Mario Brothers. I recently had a Nintendo but fried. It was a bullshit Nintendo, a knockoff one made by Retro, and one day I plugged the wrong power cord in and it fried. So I'm kind of upset about that, but I have an emulator now, so I can go back and play the NES whenever I want. But I have some cool cards in here. I have a bunch of cool SNES cards. So, yeah, I love video games, and my first experience with them, as I was saying, was about 3 or 4. One Christmas we got the NES, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I probably did say it like that because even as a young kid, I knew how to curse. It was pretty funny. It's like, what the fuck is this thing, And my brother's playing it, Adam's playing it. My sister was around, but she was young. My second youngest sister. I think my other sister might have been born too, but they really had no concept of what video games were. It was just me and my brother. It was probably 89, early 90. And the first games we ever played were the package duo, Duck Hunt and Mario. Yeah, we had the light gun. We had a lot of cool shit as kids back then. Yeah, this was when the old man was around. He actually bought us things before he took off. Piece of trash. And yeah, we had some cool shit. We had a lot of cool shit. We had Ghostbusters toys and Care Bears shit. Care Bears was fucking awesome when I was a kid. Yeah, but that's besides the point. This is more along the lines of video games, so we're going to stick to that theme. So, the only games I can honestly remember playing for the NES at such a young age were probably the Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt combination, as well as like, I can't remember, it was like a Bubble Blaster or something like that. I have to look into it. I just don't remember the name. I was so young. It was 3 or 4. I mean, I remember Mario vividly because I remember my Uncle Jimmy showed me and my brother the Warp Zone trick in level 1-2. He run across the top, and you're like, oh, my mind was blown. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. I always died about level 2-1. So with the Warp Zone, I got a little further when I was younger, so that was pretty sweet. Legend of Zelda, I think I remember playing the first one as a younger kid, but later on in life, but not when it first came out. So, yeah, for the most part, I really think that the NES Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt combo is probably the only game I played. Ninja Gaiden, possibly. I think there was a Mega Man game thrown in there. Because we didn't have the NES long, because it was towards the end of its lifespan, actually. Yeah, I know they stopped finally making games in '93, but with the advent of Super Nintendo coming out and Sega Genesis was already established then, late 89, early 90. We didn't get a Sega until after we got a Super Nintendo, believe it or not. I always wanted a Sega because in Sonic the Hedgehog came out in '91, and I had a comic book which chronicled the beginning of Sonic, actually, how his origin came about, and I really just wanted to play Sonic the Hedgehog. And the old man said, "No, you got Nintendo, you got Super Nintendo, fuck Sega Genesis right now. You get one later on, maybe." So we actually had Super Nintendo before Sega, even though Sega was the earlier system. I remember the first game we got was Super Mario World. My brother, he would play that all the time. I would watch him. When I was real young, like I didn't really play too much. I did, but I was more of a spectator. Because my brother would he would play a lot. So he had the Super Nintendo, and then later on, maybe like early '92, maybe Christmas of '91, we got a Sega. Because I remember when the Super Nintendo launched, is probably when we got it. Probably like we gotta look at the dates. I mean, I'm real fuzzy on the time period. I just remember we got a Sega after a Super Nintendo, so the Sega became mine and mine only. And boy, did I play that thing all the time. The first game I got was Sonic the Hedgehog because it came boxed. It was a sale, so we could finally afford one, you know. And it was a sale. It came boxed with the Sega, and I learned the skip level code when I was about 6 in '92. That was pretty sweet. But I actually played through the whole game back then, and I beat it. Final fucking Robotnik boss was easy, huh? Well, it's stupid fucking things just coming up and down. You just stand in one spot, dodge the little sparks. That shit was simple. It's fucking easy, bitch. They always make Robotnik easy as hell. I don't know why. That fucking guy fails every time. Every fucking time, you know. You would think, like, it would let him win once. You would think they would do that in some games. Like, they let the bad guy win once. Nah, you know, good over you triumphs over evil. Even though that's not the fucking case in real life. If that were the case, fucking, what's his name? Fucking Coney still wouldn't be in Powder, right? Is that his fucking name? Coney? Over there in fucking Africa? Somewhere? I don't keep up with fucking world events. Saddam Hussein would have fucking ran Iraq as long as he did. Fidel Castro would have ran fucking Cuba as long as he did. Yeah, fucking Robotnik sucked, but that's besides the point. So Sega was my system, even though I would jump on that Super Nintendo every so often. My brother, like, you know, we shared our shit. He wanted to play Sega sometime. I let him rock the Super Nintendo. This was before my mother lost custody the first time, and then afterwards it was just me and my brother at my grandmother's house. Like I said in the first video I ever made, you know, episode 1. So, you know, we'd share shit, and I used to play A Link to the Past a lot. That was probably the first Zelda I actually played, A Link to the Past, and that game was pretty sweet. I never beat it. I would try to pull a Master Sword without the fucking 3 pendants because I didn't know any better. I was fucking retarded about it. You know, just not retarded, but fucking idiotic about it. I don't like saying retarded. Actually, it's so mean. It's bad. You know. I don't mean it in a context of like trying to bash people, but yeah, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is probably the greatest game I ever played. Even then, like, I thought it was pretty cool, even though I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I would actually dream about it. I actually dream I was in the world and stuff late at night, and I was immersed. I was immersed in Link to the Past. That game was fucking vivid, pretty. It was pretty awesome. So I remember those games, like, you know, popular titles. I've played a lot of shit. Like, I used to rent games all the time, like most people back in the day. And we probably have late fees out the wazoo. I don't think we ever fucking paid them. It was, what was the name of the store we used to rent games from? It's like 93, 94. It's later on. We very seldom bought games then. I had a few games I owned, being Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles. I had all those titles. My brother had Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart. Never owned Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. We always used to rent it. I guess that's why I never beat it back then. And So that was pretty sweet. And Super Nintendo was awesome. Those are two systems we owned back then, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I was more of a Sega guy, just because Sonic. I thought Sonic was way cooler than fucking Mario. He was just a fat Italian plumber dude, like whatever. This fucking anthropomorphic hedgehog is fucking awesome. He runs at the speed of light. He's fucking sweet. So I was more of the Sega guy. I used to play Sega a lot more actually back then. I still own a Genesis. I got a couple games here, and I actually play Super Nintendo more now than the Sega Genesis. But back then it was all about Sega. I had a Game Gear. My brother had a Game Boy, but I had the Game Gear. And that fucking thing sucked, you know. It took 6 AA batteries and it fucking died within a half hour. Then eventually I got the like the 9-volt AC adapter. That was pretty sweet, so I could play that thing all the time. And I had some sweet games. I had Columns. I actually got really good at Columns. I still play Columns from time to time. I play with my girlfriend and she gets fucking mad when I whoop her ass. Well, she doesn't get mad. She what the fuck is this bullshit? Fuck you. It's telling me I gotta fucking restart my computer. I'm postponing that shit 4 hours. Fuck them. Hate that bullshit. It's fucking stupid pop-up shit. And I still play Columns from time to time. Pretty awesome game. No, I never played Tetris back then. Played Tetris a little bit, but I always thought Game Boy was fucking beat because the fucking monochrome screen is all green and stupid. And playing on Game Gear, you're like, this is way awesome because it has fucking color and it lights up and you can play in the dark. You couldn't do that with Game Boy. I think back to that one episode like of Are You Afraid of Dark, where the guy gets locked in a pinball machine or whatever, or what was it? Was it the pinball machine? It was some fucking video game one. This fucking dumb bitch is playing a Game Boy outside by a fire. No. There's no way. There's no way. He didn't have the overhead light or anything on that fucking thing. Like, there's no way he had enough illumination to see shit on that fucking thing. If he had a Game Gear, yeah, then I believe it. He used a Game Gear fucking real dark. I used to play Game Gear all the time. I used to have this cool Sonic the Hedgehog backpack. Like I said, Sonic was my dude. I love Sonic. And it had a slot for a Game Gear. I brought that shit to school. I used to slack off a lot in fucking elementary school. This is before the alternate school. This is when I actually went to like normal school. And that shit got robbed from me. I lost my backpack. It got robbed. Fucking books. Books from I got from the book fair. Fucking Game Gear. Everything gone. I never got another Game Gear. That was kind of upsetting. But you know, I still had Sega Genesis. I was upset for a little bit. I was really upset about my book fair books though. I really liked books back then. Not so much anymore. I still read from time to time, Stephen King and shit. But yeah, my shit got robbed. I was really upset. I really liked that Sonic backpack too. I cried for like 3 days. It's probably the fucking faggot ass 3rd grader with a mohawk and a fucking earring I used to pop in the face all the time. Faggot. I don't mean faggot like gay person. He's like faggot like annoying asshole. I hated that fucking guy. He probably robbed me. He doesn't remember me. I don't even know his name. But yeah, it was like '94, and then my mother lost custody again, and I went to the Peruvian foster family, and God forbid I ever got to play a video game there. It was fucking few and far between. My Sega was gone. I don't even know who got it. Pretty sure my brother got the Super Nintendo. He took it with him. I don't even know where my Sega was. I didn't even have a TV in my room. When I lived with my mother, she let me have a TV in my room so I could play Sega Genesis. Nah, these Peruvians, they wouldn't let me play shit. I had to watch fucking Telemundo. Telefucking Mundo. I never knew what the fuck they were saying. I got to play video games once in a while. Gary and Peter. You know, kids who live downstairs that I told you about, they were cool. And I got to play. I had a youth worker. She used to take us to the arcade a lot. Weren't fucking arcades the best, man? People would line up at a Street Fighter machine or whatever the hell, just fucking just go ham at it. Just fucking wasting all their quarters. You're trying to knock the champion off at your local arcade. I used to play the X-Men game. The beat 'em up, side-scrolling beat 'em up. like the ISO view. It wasn't really ISO. It was like 3/4 ISO. Like it was like the side, and you can move vertically and horizontally. You weren't just limited to moving side scrolling. So I used to play that. I used to play Cyclops. I like Cyclops. I don't know why. But yeah, it was pretty sweet. Going to the arcade a lot. I had another youth worker, and she's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I just want to play video games." She's like, "You want to do that all the time?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't get to play ever at these Peruvians' houses, except once in a while they let me play Sega Genesis or whatever." And that was about it for the most part. I was pretty beat living there. It really my video game playing took a dent. Didn't really get to play a lot of shit. Once in a while, like I said, go to the arcade, and one other youth worker, she took me to her house once, even though she wasn't supposed to, let me play PlayStation. Oh my god, I remember the first time I ever saw PlayStation. That thing was awesome. It's like you look back on it now and you're like, those graphics fucking suck, but I remember being like, this came out like 95, right? And Gary and Peter got one at launch. They got Pandemonium. It was a launch title. It was a side-scrolling platform game. And the screen would rotate. It was pretty sweet looking, that game. And when it first came out, I was like, are you fucking serious? What is this? What the fuck's going on here? These people look real. What is this? Now you look back on it, it's like, no, they don't look real at all. They just look like fucking blocks. But then, you know, like 95, it was the coolest shit we ever seen. Kids these days, you're privileged. You're fucking privileged with your video games. That's why you're graphics whores. You don't want to go back and play anything old because you say the graphics suck. But under them shitty graphics, you know, it's great games. Super Mario, fucking Legend of Zelda, fucking, all them games are good. I will even argue the fact that, like, SNES games look better than, have aged better than PlayStation games. Because it's like 2D rendered sprites that are like vivid and like a lot prettier look better than fucking ancient 3D. Everybody knows that's the case. So I remember the first time I saw PlayStation, I was like, that blew my fucking mind. That was awesome, and I didn't really get to play PlayStation a lot. Once in a while, I remember playing like a few games, like Pandemonium being one. There's all like early launch titles, like Resident Evil first came out. I remember playing that back in the day. That game was fucking awesome. Still love Resident Evil. A couple more like PlayStation games that were just blew your fucking mind away. Because it was, I never really saw Jaguar or like any of those like early high-powered video game systems. I was only used to like 2D sprites and like side scrollers and, you know, adventure games. And well, it's not true. Like the first time I probably ever saw, like, it wasn't really 3D. It was 3D rendered backgrounds, and it was really a 2D game. It was just like 3D rendered graphics on like a 2D background. It's like Donkey Kong Country. But that was nothing compared to when PlayStation first came out. PlayStation was fucking amazing. I don't really remember like fucking playing PlayStation often, but when I did, that was cool. And then 64 came out not too long after PlayStation, like within a year, 96, I guess. And 64 was pretty sweet. I remember we got a 64 in like 98 when it first came out, when I moved back in with my mother, you know, 97 maybe. Well, in 97 I moved back when it, like the end of 97 I moved back in with her, and like 98 is when we got a 64. And we had sweet games. We had Super Mario 64. We had I just remember like really playing the shit out of WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. Because when I was a kid, Stone Cold Steve Austin was all the rage, you know. Like, I fucking looked up to Stone Cold. He wasn't exactly the role model you should have back then, but he was mine. I fucking love Stone Cold Steve Austin. I would damn sure try to win that fucking Royal Rumble. That one summer, I fucking finally got out of the JDC, the Youth Correctional Facility. the treatment center. That whole summer, I tried to win that fucking Royal Rumble. I finally did it. I won a belt. I made the road to WrestleMania. I won a belt. But yeah, I remember first playing like 64s, like Mario, Super Mario 64. That's pretty sweet. You know, I never had a Saturn either. That's something I regret not owning. It was like a Saturn. Even if Saturn kind of had like a small library, there's still a lot of cool games like Panzer Dragoon Saga, a couple other ones. Can't think of the off the top of my head because I didn't really have a lot of experience with Sega Saturn. But 64 was the shit. Yeah, we had 64. We had PlayStation 2. When I moved back in with my mother, we had PlayStation 2. Like original PlayStation, not like PlayStation 2. We also owned PlayStation, so if you were confused by that. We also had a PlayStation. My sister broke it. She stepped on it. Broke the lens. Yeah, so we only had 64 from that point. And then eventually, 2000 rolled around. We still had old shit. I know Dreamcast was out. I didn't buy one until later. And I didn't buy one until like right before its cycle ended when I moved in with my aunt. So I remember Dreamcast a lot too. So after we left my mother's house and I moved in with my aunt and uncle down there in Toms River, New Jersey. They had PlayStation 2 and not PlayStation 2. They also owned PlayStation. I should just say PlayStation. They also had PlayStation and PS1. You know, I used to play that sometimes with them, and it's pretty awesome. My cousin actually bought like a fucking piece of shit Panasonic 3DO for like $10 at a fucking at a flea market or a garage sale or some shit. I think it was a garage sale. I remember playing that fucking thing. Like, this system sucks. I was like glad I never bought the shit in '94. That shit was like $500 when it first came out, and no one really bought it. He got it for $10 5 years ago, like 6 years later, like 2000. I remember playing that fucking thing. That thing sucked. I think he had, I don't remember what games he had for it, but that thing was just a fucking piece of shit. It was a good CD player, it played good music. That was all it was good for. Fucking overpriced fucking CD player. The games weren't great. They didn't play DVDs or anything, they had fucking DVDs then. They had fucking laser disc. Big fucking like record looking laser. But yeah, I moved in with my aunt and uncle, and they owned PlayStation, so we used to play 10-Pin Alley. 10-Pin Alley was cool. It was a bowling game, and they used to bet money on it. My uncle, my cousin, and my other cousin, when I lived there, used to bet money on it. That was pretty sweet. And so I lived there for a while, and I used to go to the Ocean County Mall a lot and just buy fucking shit, and buy games. Like I used to get money from the state back then. My aunt used to let me keep some of it. The other would go towards taking care of me, but she used to give me money to buy shit with, whatever. She was like, "Oh, you can't wear a video game." I don't give a fuck about clothes. I still don't give a shit about clothes. A lot of my clothes that I own, I've owned for years, and I really don't give a flying fuck. I bought this sweater like 3 years ago. Whatever. The only really new clothes I bought are like hats. I like hats. I love hats. I got a whole bunch of hats. So that's what she always, "Oh, you're gonna play another video game, you can't wear a video game." It's like, I just wear my last year's clothes. They still fit. They're alright. I don't care. Fuck it. Who cares? So, the first system I bought was off a kid when I moved in there. And the first system I bought off a kid was Dreamcast. And he gave me some sweet ass games. He gave me, he only sold it for like $50. He just needed, I think he needed money for fucking weed or whatever the fuck he was trying to buy. I didn't fucking care about drugs back then either. I just wanted to play games. That's all I ever wanted to do was fucking, back in the day, is just fucking play games. So it was like 2000, like late 2000, early 2001, PlayStation, or Dreamcast been out for a while. But I bought it towards the end of its life cycle, like I said. There was only like a year left. I didn't buy a lot of new releases for it. But I had some cool games. There was Shenmue I beat, Sonic Adventure I beat, Sonic Adventure 2 I beat. Just a lot of cool shit. There's other games too. Can't remember. There was a racing game. It was Sega GT. Can't remember the name of it, but that was pretty cool. I beat. So I had a lot of cool games from Dreamcast. We didn't own PlayStation 2 at the time. I had Dreamcast until GameCube came out. We got a GameCube for Christmas when it first came out back in 2001. First game I ever got was Luigi's Mansion. I really wanted Wave Race Blue Storm, but I got fucking Luigi's Mansion. I really wanted Wave Race. That shit was sold out, but they had Luigi's Mansion. And I beat that game. That game was sweet. And I still was playing my Dreamcast, NFL 2K. I got pretty good at that game. And NFL 2, I had a lot of NFL 2K games. And then I had Madden for GameCube. I want to say Dante Culpepper was on the cover, so it was fucking Madden 02, I guess. Yeah, it was Madden 02. I got really good at that fucking game for GameCube. I had a lot of cool GameCube games. And, yeah, a lot of cool shit. A lot of cool GameCube games. I had my GameCube for a while. I had my GameCube for years. Even when I went to the treatment center, I think I gave it to my grandmother to look after when I went to the treatment center, and then I eventually got it back. But GameCube was my system. Because Sega wasn't making consoles anymore. I told it was a Sega dude back in the day. I love Sega. Still love Sega. There's a lot of good games that I played. And this is around the time when I met a lot of cool people we played video games with. And this is what I'm talking about when it was like I almost failed. Like a lot of school I missed. It wasn't like I would cut school too, but freshman year, me and a group of friends, we always used to cut, and we used to go to his house, play PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Super Smash Brothers occupied a lot of our time. A lot of our time. Super Smash Brothers Melee, actually. And that was pretty sweet, so just awesome to begin with. And just trying to think, you know, just played a lot of games over the years. So we cut a lot of school. We played Super Smash Brothers, Melee. We played Bloody Roar for GameCube. That game was kind of gay, but it was really just a button masher. I was actually one of the better ones at that game out of all our friends in that group that I had. This is around the same time I discovered emulators too. But we didn't have like a decent enough computer at my house. We had web TV for a while when I lived with my aunt and uncle, and then my cousin finally got a computer. He would let me use it sometimes, but he didn't want me downloading shit on it because there wasn't a lot of memory and stuff, so I respected his wishes. I didn't download a lot of emulators and shit. And I have a plug-and-play controller anyway, so it kind of sucked to play on a fucking keyboard, emulators. But I had this one friend whose name was Jason. He lived a couple blocks away. I used to hang out with him. We used to play like emulators. We used to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game a lot too. I had a decent deck. I was alright at that game. I stopped playing years ago. I play on PlayStation Network now. Yu-Gi-Oh! Decade Duels Plus. I don't like it too much. Too much has changed. I don't like these fucking XYZ monsters and fucking synchro monsters. They're all fucking gay. Just annoying, really. I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't like the shit. I'd rather just play 2,000 life points, no direct attacks upon life points, you know. That's what I prefer to do. Tribute summons and all that shit, fuck that, but I'm getting off track. So me and Jason would hang out a lot, and we play emulators. I played a lot of Shining Force. I really wish I played that game as a kid for the actual console. I have it downloaded. I mean, I might get back into it. I almost beat it a couple times. I always got to the end, but never beat it. I did that with a lot of games too. And so at the time, I still had Dreamcast. still had GameCube at my house, and then my other friends had PlayStation 2. Santucci had a PlayStation 2. We used to go over there. We used to rock PS2. That was pretty sweet. We used to play SmackDown versus Raw. And Santucci, he remembers Ichiro Honda. He made a guy called the Master. It was like this Asian warrior dude, and I was a big baseball fan, still am, you know. And always been a Yankees fan, but Ichiro just hit the States, and that dude was beastly. Like, I had nothing but respect for that guy when he came out. He was one of my favorite players, so I made a guy named Ichiro Honda. He was SmackDown versus Raw, whatever, maybe it was 2. I think it was 2 from PlayStation, and he used to go up against Master, and that was cool. That was pretty sweet. I wish I still had the template for that dude. He didn't look anything like the baseball player. I just used the name because I liked Ichiro Suzuki a lot. Number 51, Seattle Mariners. Mariners went on a fucking tear that year, too. They won 116 games. Didn't matter, though. 2001. It didn't fucking matter. Yankees whooped that ass. And we lost to the fucking Diamondbacks. Fucking Diamondbacks. I wanted us to win that 4th straight because that was 9/11. That's our city. We fucking love New York. A lot of people from Jersey, like, we go to New York. They love New York. But I'm getting off track. So, I just remember, like, playing a lot of, like, wrestling games because I'm still very much into wrestling. I still watch it from time to time, but back then I was a super fan. And I actually worked ring crew for an indie company. I got to meet a lot of cool people. And then I got kicked out of my aunt's house, went to the treatment center, and they held on my shit for me. I eventually got it back, and I got some more, like, cool GameCube games. I got Wind Waker, Super Mario Sunshine, bunch of cool shit. Never actually beat Super Mario Sunshine because my copy was fucked up, but I never returned it. Because it would work. It would work about 30% of the time, and then I would just leave it on because I didn't want to turn it off because I know it wouldn't load again. So I had a lot of fond memories of, like, GameCube. Dreamcast is another big one. Resident Evil is the one with when you play as not Jill, but not Leon. You play as Chris and Claire. Oh, what the fuck was that one called? I can't remember the name of it. But I beat that game. That game was sweet. Resident Evil first came out on Code Veronica. There it is, Code Veronica. They eventually ported it to PS2. And I beat it back then for Dreamcast when it first came out. And there was Tony Hawk for Dreamcast, and used to play a lot of Tony Hawk too. Got really good at 3, and Tony Hawk really fucking took a shitstorm, huh? Really just took a fucking dive. They came out with a stupid ride game, and nobody bought that shit. Like, why would you play a video game with an actual skateboard when you just go outside and fucking skateboard? Fucking stupid ass Activision making stupid decisions. But I used to play a lot of Madden too back then. I still play Madden. If you ever want to get at me, PlayStation 3 username's Travis12386. Send me a friend invite, and you can play. I rock as a bunch of different teams, mainly teams with option quarterbacks like Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, obviously. So Panthers, 49ers, 2 of my favorite teams to use. Lately, I've been using, like, the Redskins. They work out well too with that Carolina playbook. So, just video games have been a really, like, influential part of my life for the most part. So I go to the treatment center, right? Here, let's get back on track. And we used to have Madden tournaments, and I was one of the better players there. There was a couple guys I couldn't beat, but they were good. Like, one kid knew how to fucking block field goals all the time. But the cheesiest shit ever was when Madden 04 came out. And noobs, fucking total noobs. I always used to rock as the 49ers, even though they were kind of bad. Like, they were alright in 02. Like, they were really good in 02, and I used to rock as them all the time. Because they had T.O., they had Jeff Garcia, and Garrison Hurst in the backfield. They were all right. '03, they weren't as good, but they were still decent because they had T.O., Jeff Garcia. They had an all right defense. Julian Peterson was a second year then. He was a good outside linebacker. So they had a decent defense. Then '04 came, and then just Jeff Garcia was gone, and defense wasn't as good. Dennis Erickson was a coach. His playbook kind of sucked on that fucking game. But Total News would just pick the Falcons and just fucking run outside with Mike Vick. Just total cheesers, you know? Not even good at Madden. Just Mike Vick was unstoppable. He was basically the Bo Jackson of our era. You remember Bo Jackson, Tecmo Bowl. You couldn't fucking stop him to begin with. So we used to have Madden tournaments, and so his PlayStation 2, obviously. So we had PS2 at the center. And I've always been a big sports game guy. I used to play MVP baseball back then. It was called Triple Play. I played a lot of baseball games and football. So it's like from '04 to like '06. So we played a lot of PS2 and Xbox in the center. 360 had just came out, but I didn't have money for these fucking things. You know, I didn't have 360 probably like '07, '08. Probably '08 was probably when I bought my first Xbox 360. I had PS3 during that time too, but I sold it back in like '08. But from like '04 to '06, I was still playing a lot of GameCube. It was still very much in the swing of things. We still had some cool titles that came out. Resident Evil 4 was fucking amazing when it first came out. And I bought the collector's edition. It came with a bunch of cool shit. It came with a poster and like a Leon figure. And then from the center, nothing ever. Animal Crossing came out. Played a lot of that game too. I don't even know why. Cause you go back and you look at that game. It's like, what's so redeeming about this game? I guess it was just addicting. It was like Sims with animals, basically. So I played a lot of that game, and we had other people play too. All 4 houses were occupied when I lived in the center, and that was pretty sweet. So we played that game a lot. There was a bunch of other games. Resident Evil 4, obviously. Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Sunshine. Played a bunch of shit back then. Yu-Gi-Oh! War of the Roses was another game I played a lot. So, but mostly back then it was just like Madden. Straight Madden. Like, I was all the other kids really wanted to play in the center. Ewing, obviously. If you watched my first video, you know. Madden. I played as the Niners, even though they were fucking garbage. They were real garbage in that game. Madden 04 to from Madden 04 to like probably Madden 2012, they were always straight bombs. They were awful, but I didn't give a shit. I always played as the Niners. I don't care how bad they were. And I used to rock people with the Niners too. So I was alright. I was alright at Madden. It just didn't. You know, I had Kevin Barlow was a decent back in those games. Frank Gore was a beast. Ever since he got the starting job, he's been a beast at Madden. So the Niners were alright if you knew how to use them. And then, you know, after I left the rec center, like end of 05, end of 06. No, end of 05, beginning of 06 was when I went to the independent living place, and some scumbag stole my fucking GameCube. They didn't take the Xbox, because I had Xbox too. I don't remember where I got the Xbox from. I don't remember how I got Xbox. But they stole my GameCube in every game I had for it, but they didn't take my Xbox, surprisingly. So I was kind of fucking heated about that. And then Then I moved in with that nice couple I talked about in my first video, and I met a lot of cool people when I was still attending community college when I lived over there. And one of them being one of my good friends. What's up, Roman, if you ever see this? This is when I really got into Guilty Gear. I actually got pretty alright at Guilty Gear, too. Guilty Gear was an awesome fighting game. It was a little different, with a weird story, but it was pretty awesome. So I played a lot of Guilty Gear during those years, and then I joined the Marine Corps. Didn't play no fucking games, really. Didn't really play games like 2007 after I joined the Marine Corps. When I was in MOS school, though, I did buy a PlayStation 2 and a TV off a kid for like $50. It was definitely worth it because we had I was the only person with a TV and a game system. Like nobody else had one. Because you weren't going to be there long, but I didn't care. I needed something to occupy my free time. And yeah, Camp Johnson, we used to play a lot of Guitar Hero. I actually got alright at Guitar Hero. I used to really suck hard. I couldn't beat anything past medium, and then I started playing on hard. I got pretty decent on hard, and I could beat a few songs on expert. So we used to play a lot of Guitar Hero, me and the other Marines. And then I hit the fleet. I still had PS2. Like that was the only thing I was really playing, even though like 360 and PS3 were out. I didn't get my hands on one until like 2008 when my friend, he owed me $600. He paid me $3 in cash and $3 in the form of PS3. So I eventually sold the PS3 for far less than what it was worth. I should have held on to it because it was a decent system. And then I got 360, and 360 used to play. 360, I don't remember the games I used to play back then. Madden, obviously, still. I had an Xbox Live account. I used to play online sometimes. But I used to go to my friend's room, Matt, like 2008. We used to play a lot of college football, and I was always Rutgers. He was always Florida. That was fun. What's up, Matt, if you're watching this? And I still talk to him. We still play from time to time online. He still lives in California. Obviously, I'm here in Jersey. So, another big game for me back then was like Fallout. Fallout was awesome when it first came. Fallout 3. Fucking was it BioWare? Can't remember who made that game. It wasn't BioWare though. There was like Mass Effect 2. I used to play a lot of that. Mainly just really sports titles though. For the most part. So I was always Rutgers. He was always Florida. We used to go at it. We never played Madden then. He didn't like Madden. He was strictly like college football game fan. But in recent years, like Madden's been better than college football, so he just sticks to Madden. But I've played both over the years, and lately I've just been playing a couple different games. I've been playing a lot of NHL, MLB, The Show, Madden, obviously, and then there's a couple other games I play. It was a stupid fucking decision to make. I bought the fucking Walking Dead Survival Instinct game off PlayStation Network. Talk about it awful. I mean, it's playable. Don't get me wrong, it functions as a game. It's playable. Sometimes the hit detection's off, but for the most part, it's playable, but it's just a shitty game. Played a role of Daryl Dixon, and it's just bad. Like the story's bad. Like the levels are very generic. The level design is horrible. It's just like the same shit over. It's very repetitive. Really no replay value. I bought that fucking game. That was a mistake. Should have read up on it first. One of the stupidest decisions I ever made buying games was this. It was called a game called Time Stalkers for Dreamcast. This is when I was big. Still playing my Dreamcast. Time fucking Stalkers. Santucci, you remember this fucking game. Mutan. That was a character as a fucking sheep butler. That fucking game, man. It had random dungeons. Like randomly designed dungeons, like you didn't know like what was gonna happen. The combat system was fucking beat. The characters were fucking generic. The main character's name was Sword. There's a lion guy. His name was like Wide. Like no originality. Just an awful fucking game. Just all around. I never got past like the second or third dungeon. Like I got tired of that fucking game. It just became a laughing joke. It just became like a fucking. It just became a running joke amongst me, Jason, and my friend Mike Santucci, you know, Monster Mike, General Santucci first. That game was bad. And I only bought it because the cover art was cool. But yeah, don't buy Survival Instinct. The Walking Dead game is horrible. I heard the what's that company called? They do like the point and click games, like the Scum games. They came out with a couple recently. Something Towers. They did the Back to the Future one. That was pretty sweet. And I heard they had a Walking Dead one. So yeah, just play that one, the point and click one. It's called The Walking Dead. I think it's only like $20. And split it up into like 5 parts. But I heard that one was alright. I haven't played it. I have to check it out because I played. Hold on. I mean, it's in this Game Informer here, the developer. They're coming out with a new one based off the Fables comics. That probably should be pretty cool. Hold on. I'll tell you in a second. Can't remember the name of the development company. That's bad. Here it is. It was Telltale. Yeah. They put out a Walking Dead one. That was pretty sweet, I heard. So I gotta pick that up. I gotta try that. So, well, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. So yeah, Time Stalkers is a bad fucking game. That's another game that I like fondly remember, but not for good reasons, just for like bad reasons. So I've played a lot of video games over the years. Like I can't remember all of them. There's just like too much to name, and they've always been like a very important part of my life, and always will continue to be. Like whenever I have kids, they're probably gonna grow up with a controller in their hand, kind of like I was. Because like I said, we got a NES when I was 3. You know, they're fucking killing ducks with a light gun. You ever try playing Duck Hunt on like fucking current TV? It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. You need to go out and get a cathode ray tube fucking cathode ray tube fucking TV to play that shit. I don't even know like people fucking have fucking tube televisions anymore. Everybody's got like flat screen. But yeah, you can't play Duck Hunt on that shit. You really can't. It doesn't detect it for some reason. This is weird if it doesn't work. Because from what I understand, I think the technology was like the screen would black except for one thing you pointed at, and that's where it would light up at. That way it would flicker. And I guess you can only do that with a cathode ray television. You can't do it with a HD like flat screen. So yeah, I've played more games than an average person should. Like I just grew up playing games. I continue to play games. My brother's got a Wii right now that I play from time to time. And I got PS3, obviously. 360, I just gave it the boot. I got tired of it. I didn't want to pay $60 a year for fucking Xbox Live anymore. And every 360 I owned, it always fucking red ringed. It's like, fuck that. PlayStation 3 I've had for 2.5 years now, no problems. I think the longest I owned a 360 for was probably like a year before it red ringed. Fucking piece of shit. The only problem I had with the PlayStation is the laser went on it, and that was an easy fix. It was only $80. So PlayStation's working good. So if you want to get at me, play games, whatever, I play Madden. Played Madden, NHL, The Show, Travis 12386. So, you know, it's just pretty awesome. Like, video games just come a long way. Like I said, fucking PlayStation blew my mind when I first saw it. PS1. PlayStation blew my fucking mind. And I saw PS2 that blew my mind. Then I saw PS3 that blew my mind. And Xbox 360 was like, the bar just kept getting raised. I hope they haven't hit the ceiling. You know, I hope video games continue to look better and perform better. But don't let new technology take away from your fond memories of older stuff, because that's the shit you grew up with. Don't ever fucking think, as great as the game that BioWare Infinite might be, it's not better than Legend of Zelda. It's not. No matter how good of a game that what was a real good game that came out recently? It was critically acclaimed. Like Mass Effect, you know, Mass Effect is one of my favorite series. Don't think that Mass Effect's a better game than Super Mario, because it's definitely not. I don't care what nobody fucking says. People saying Tom Brady's a better quarterback than Joe Montana, because no, he's not. No, he's not. He'll never be. Fucking Tom Brady isn't even better than Steve Young. Fuck out of here. Tom Brady. Shit, I could go set records in this NFL these days. Them guys had to scratch and claw for every fucking record they possessed. No, I really like Dan Marino. I feel bad for the guy. He never won a ring. But, yeah, Dan Marino's probably a better quarterback than Tom Brady. NFL wasn't anything like today. You breathe on a receiver, you get a fucking penalty. Get out of here. Defensive backs got away with murder then. I don't even know why I made that comparison. Like, video games these days are like really excellent, but I don't know. It's just everybody's running off the same engine, whether it be like the Unreal Engine or whatever this other engine is these days that they use. Everything's like cookie cutter. Everything's like cookie cutter and just like no originality outside of a few series like the fuck did I say before? Like Mass Effect and BioShock. Grand Theft Auto is pretty fucking cookie cutter too. I pre-ordered 5, but I think I might cancel it. So Grand Theft Auto is not a better game than any of the games I mentioned before. Grand Theft Auto is pretty cookie cutter too. It's the same shit over. There's like no originality anymore. That's the problem. Like, games don't try to reinvent themselves these days. So, video games have been like a very important part of my life, and I mean, I always continue to enjoy video games, even as much as bland as they get. Maybe I'll just go back and pop in, you know, old school title, because I like old school gaming. I wish you could play old school games online. That'd be sweet, right? Whoop your ass in some like classic Street Fighter. I think there's a couple games of that where they like put online capability in, like they brought these old games back, but I'm not sure. It's like I remember when online gaming first took off. Like, Dreamcast laid the groundwork, but that shit was 56K and ran like ass. Xbox is what really got it going. I don't think a lot of people used like PS2 online that much. I know I didn't when I had PS2. Even though it was free, you know. I didn't really use it. I didn't really play a lot of online games. Still don't. I miss the arcade. There's nothing like seeing the face on somebody after you just whoop that ass. You know, like you don't get that in online gaming. Because this guy could be in Alaska and you're in fucking Florida, you know. And they just talk shit. It's like a lot of 12-year-olds, like a lot of parents resorting to like using Xbox or PlayStation 3 as a fucking babysitting tool. These kids these days are rude as shit too. They're rude as hell. I hate playing online games. That's why I don't own a mic. Motherfuckers don't shut the fuck up. They just talk shit in a little baby voice. Yeah, you suck. you're a booty at this game. I just whooped your ass. Yeah, good on you. I don't care. I'm just playing for fun. I'm not really that competitive. I get pissed sometimes. I yell and shit on bullshit calls, but for the most part, I don't really fucking care. And I think I'm gonna cut it off there. If you like this video, subscribe, comment, like, whatever. Send to your friends, send to your mom's friends, send to your grandma's friends, her friends, everybody's friends. And watch my other friend's channel, Santucci, Mike Santucci. He's General Santucci First. Monster Mike. I appear in a video over there, like I stated before in an earlier video. And I'm gonna leave soon to get to this job interview. It's like an hour and a half away, but I need to start working. Being unemployed sucks, you know. You can't just sit here and play fucking Yu-Gi-Oh all day on PS3 and Madden and shit. And peace. Take care.